Alright, hello Lombaxers, it's time for another tier list. Now, not long ago, I did a tier list for all the weapons in Ratchet Clank 1, so this time it's all the weapons in Ratchet Clank 2, which is my favourite game within the series. Now then, there's a little difference between Ratchet Clank 1 and Ratchet Clank 2 in that the weapons upgrade. So each weapon has their standard initial version, then you can upgrade it by using that weapon over and over again and killing enough enemies with it. And then you can buy mega versions, and then they can upgrade to ultra versions. So I'm ranking these weapons overall. Not just their standard versions, but if it upgrades really well and I still like the weapon when it's mega and ultra, then that counts as well. So we've got a few different places where they can go. They can either go in the garbage, which is right in the bottom. These are the weapons that I just think are completely useless, shouldn't even be in the game. I'm not even sure any weapons will be in this section, we will see. Bad just means I don't use them, they're pretty useless. Meh just means here and there, I mean they're okay, but use them maybe occasionally. Alright are good. Really good is obviously better than alright. Then super is just the top tier. I'm not sure why I've got so many different sections, but this means it makes it more spread out. So then, we will start with the bouncer, I believe this is. The bouncer is my favourite weapon in the game, so it's going in super tier. It's one of the most useful weapons in the game. You fire a big bouncing ball that explodes into many little balls that go around and explode. It's just one of the most fun weapons in the entire game, and I love it. So yes, super tier straight away. Now then, we've got the chopper, which turns into the multi-star once it's upgraded. I don't really see myself using it that much, so it's going in meh. I mean, it's a pretty good idea for a weapon. You fire a little kind of star that bounces off things, bounces off enemies and onto other enemies, but I rarely actually see it doing that much damage. You seem to have to fire lots and lots and lots and lots just to kill one medium enemy. Okay, this is the gravity bomb, which turns into the mini nuke. This weapon you get right at the start of the game. And the mini nuke is one of the best weapons in the game. The gravity bomb is useful only early on, so you need to upgrade it. I'm gonna put that in alright. That's a pretty decent weapon. It's pretty much the same type of weapon as the bomb glove in Ratchet Clank 1, where you'd throw a little bomb, but it's basically turned into a gun that launches kind of like a grenade launcher. That's how I describe it. Right, this is the hover bomb gun, which turns into the tetra bomb. I am very indifferent with this weapon. I don't really use it very much. I kind of prefer it when it was the hover bomb, because you control one bomb and you can actually control where the bomb goes, which is quite good. But then it goes up to 4, but then you can't really control them very well. I don't see myself using it. I'm sure that it's probably very popular among the Ratchet Clank community, so I'm very sorry if you like it, but it's going in bad for me because I just don't see myself using it at all. Okay, so up next is the lava gun, which once upgraded turns into the meteor gun. Now, I actually prefer this gun when it's the lava gun. I kind of find the meteor gun to be worse, which is weird because that's meant to be the upgraded version. The lava gun, however, on its original state would probably be a meh. But the meteor gun is bad, I think, so I'm putting it in bad. Naughty lava gun, how dare you upset me. Okay, and here we have the mini rocket tube, which is basically the same as the Devastator, but a better version of it in Ratchet Clank 2. It turns into the mega rocket tube? Mega rocket something? I'm not 100% sure. I should know this, but it's a really good weapon. You know me, I love rocket launchers. Very useful against very big enemies, definitely. If you see a big naughty enemy, get your mini rocket tube out. What even is this? I need to look up the... How am I meant to know what this weapon is? I need to look up on the wiki what this weapon is. Okay, so I've looked it up. This is... I've already forgotten. Hold on! This is the mini turret glove. Now I remember. It's very hard to tell what some of these weapons are based on these little pictures. Right, so the mini turret glove allows you to throw little turrets that shoot and kill enemies, but very rarely. Although I find myself using it quite a lot just as added on damage. You throw out some little turrets and then you use your main weapon to kill off the other enemies. And just let the turrets do their own job by themselves. So it's pretty useful. I find myself using it quite a lot. So it's going in alright for me. Alright, hello. Okay, up next is the Plasma Coil. I didn't find myself using this weapon too much, mostly because you get it really late in the game. But it's a very good weapon, but it's very expensive for what it actually is, so I'm putting it in meh. It doesn't do that much damage considering how expensive it is, so it's kind of a middle of the road meh kind of item. Nothing's in the garbage yet. We will see if anything goes in the garbage. Maybe the sniper rifle, which I've forgotten the name of. Hold on! The pulse rifle, which turns into the vaporizer later on. Pretty standard sniper rifle. There wasn't really a sniper rifle in Ratchet Clank 1. This is obviously very good for long range because it's a sniper rifle. Is it as good as the mini rocket tube? Is it even super? I find myself using it quite often. I find it's a really good weapon because you can use it from long range, which most of the other weapons don't have good range. Now then, this is the Rhino 2. Of course, in Ratchet Clank games, they all have the Rhino weapon. And in pretty much all of them, they are super tier. It's pretty much the best weapon in the game. Just fires rockets all over the place, explosions everywhere. Who doesn't like the Rhino? Of course, just as expensive as it was in the original. Right, this is the Seeker gun, which turns into the H-22 killer gun. I can't remember all the names of the guns, but I know the original is the Seeker gun. This is a very useful weapon. Basically, fires out a little drone that hovers about, and then when it sees an enemy, it suddenly goes wah and fires right at them. I find myself using this quite a lot, although you can't really control what enemy it actually targets in on. So if there's lots of little enemies in between you and a big enemy, it would just go after the little enemies, which can be a little bit annoying. But I will put it in alright. I think that's fair. Okay, so it's time for the comedy weapon, the Sheepinator. Of course, in Ratchet Clank 1, you got to turn enemies into chickens. And in Ratchet Clank 2, you get to turn enemies into little sheep. Again, pretty much the same as the Morph Array in Ratchet Clank 1. It's meant to be a bit of fun. You're not meant to use it, like, as your main weapon. It's just, I've turned something into a sheep. For comedy value, it's pretty funny, so I might put it up to meh. Why not? Let's put it up to meh. Because I do actually use it quite a lot because I'm a silly player. Right, up next, this is the Shield Charger. I find myself using this all the time. Of course, it prevents you from taking damage. You can use it along with other weapons. And then it turns into the Tesla Shield, which actually does damage to enemies around you. It's one of the most overpowered items in the game once it's upgraded. So yes, I would use that all the time and try and get upgraded. It's in Super Class. We're getting quite a few in Super Class. 3 so far. Will any more go in there? Probably not, because this is the Spider Bot. This is the first one that's going in garbage, and maybe the only one in garbage. It's a pretty bad item. I mean, you need to use it for some platinum bolts, but apart from that, I don't find myself using it. You throw out a little spider, and kind of like the Visor Bomb in Ratchet Clank 1, you then get a separate screen where you then get to control the little spider, and you scuttle about and then blow up some enemies. And then eventually you can get a turret on that spider, but I just don't really use it, apart from to get the platinum bolts, because there are a few little tunnels that you need to go through to get some platinum bolts, so be on the lookout for those. Apart from that, it's in the garbage. Right, so up next is the Synthoids, which turn into the Killzoids? Something like that, I think. But yes, basically the same as the shield charge in that you can use it along with other weapons. There's kind of like extra damage and extra firepower to go along with it. So it's not your main weapon, but it's not as good as the shield charger because they run out very quickly and it can be very expensive to pay for ammo for them. But again, it's maybe alright. I think it's going to go in. I think I put it in there. I think that's fair. Okay, and up next is the Zodiac, which is the most overpriced weapon in the game. This is such a disappointing weapon. I thought once you bought it, it was going to be something amazing, like the best weapon ever. I mean, it does quite a good bit of damage, but for what it is and how expensive it is and how much the ammo costs, I just never really bothered using it. You can't upgrade it, so I would use my other weapons that you can upgrade. So I'm afraid it's not. Is it garbage? No, that'd be way too harsh. I'm gonna put in bad just because of how disappointing it is compared to the price of the actual weapon. Okay, we do have the Lancer down here, but I have noticed there are a couple of weapons missing, including the Blitz Cannon and the Clank Zapper. So the Clank Zapper is probably my least favourite weapon in the game. It's absolutely stupid. I mean, fine, you might as well buy it so Clank can do a little bit of damage, but the damage is so little and it's so disappointing that the Clank Zapper would be in the garbage along with the Spider Bot. The Blitz Cannon, however, is one of my most used weapons. That would go in really good. That's kind of like a big shotgun blast, and it's one of the most useful weapons in the game. You could just take out hordes and hordes of enemies using your big Blitz Cannon. Definitely very useful. Of course, for the impossible challenge where you need lots and lots of weapons, getting the Blitz Cannon full of ammo is a very good idea. So, finally, we have the Lancer, which is a gun you start off with in the game. Pretty much the same as the blaster in the first game. It becomes a little bit redundant very early on though, especially if you upgrade it very early on, which you will do because you won't have many other weapons. But it's alright, it's somewhere roughly in the middle. It's a pretty decent kind of machine gun type of weapon. So yes, that is where the final stand-ins are. Will I move anything around? Could I move the shield charger down? I might put... Maybe I was a bit too overexcited putting that in super. I might put that down to really good. Anything else? Was I a bit harsh on the hover bomb gun? Maybe. But I'm still putting it down there. Yeah, let's put the Sheepinator back down there. That was just very silly of me putting it that high. I think those final stand-ins are good. So I hope you enjoyed this tier list of the Ratchet Clank 2 weapons. Let me know what your favourite weapons are in the game. Let me know what you agree with in my tier list, what you would change. And of course, if you enjoyed the video, leave me a like. You can follow me on Twitter at ClassicGamerX11. I'd like to thank my members on my channel, Lou951, Gavin James and James the Crimson Dragon. Thank you for watching, take care and leave me alone.